Hey everybody, Zach here again. I just wanted to record a video that explains what a filtered data extension is, especially when using Marketing Cloud Connect, how you can use a filtered data extension, and kind of the pros and cons. So, in Salesforce Marketing Cloud, when you come in to start to send emails, you might notice that you want to use your Salesforce Connect objects. So, if I come over here to Audience Builder and then I pop into Contact Builder, and I come into my data sources, I go to my synchronized, and then come here. You see I have the contact object synced over, and that's awesome. And then if I come over to my list of data extensions, come to synchronized data extensions, you can see right here I've got the contact underscore Salesforce object synced. And that's awesome because I can come in here and I can see what fields I have synced over. I can even come here, excuse me, and I can see what information I have. This is all the contact information I have for my customers from Salesforce CRM. That's awesome. But the problem is, if I come into Email Studio and I attempt to make a send using one of those test emails, or not one of those test emails, using one of those synchronized data extensions, you'll notice that that's not an option, which is really unfortunate because the connector is so convenient, but this is one of the downsides. So if I come over here to select my audience, you'll notice synchronized data extensions do not show up. Go to all audience types, they do not show up. So what do we do for that? And why would we want to have be able to or have the ability to send to our synchronized data extension? Well, in Journey Builder, as you know, you can use Salesforce data as the entry source, and that's awesome. But when you get into personalization and segmentation, things can get a little bit tricky. So one thing is, I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but I can use Salesforce data, drag an email over, and if I go through the steps of setting up my Salesforce data and select an email, I'm not able to preview the email that will be sent out to my customer here, which is also very unfortunate. So for example, if I come in here and I choose a Salesforce campaign, go ahead and click next. I'll just select this campaign as an example. For my entry data, I'll use my common contact and lead. And let's just say I add in my first name, I add in last name, and my title, right? If I go ahead and click next and click done, I believe that I have an email template that will come up that uses a personalization string, which is sometimes helpful and sometimes not as helpful. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with my screen here. We'll just hit refresh. But yeah, if I come over and I try to view the personalization string, I'm not able to do that. So I'll go ahead and choose my Salesforce campaign again. I'll choose this campaign. I'll go to my common contact and lead. And I know if my email is only using first name. So I'll just drag over first name onto the, drag over first name, right? And I go ahead and click done. Let's see if I can find an email that actually uses first name as the personalization string. Might take a little bit, but it'll be fine. So yeah, I will come over and I will select, where did it go? I believe it's this one. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and hit summary. I'll click preview and test. And since I use Salesforce data as my entry source, I'm not able to see the personalization string here. Now what it's doing here is it's pulling in the subscriber attributes from this data extension, which is helpful. But if I pull that data extension away, or if I go over here to select the data extension to preview, again, you'll notice synchronized data extensions is not there. So what do we do about that? First thing that I would suggest is for you to actually come in to Automation Studio and start to build out a filtered data extension. Oh, actually, sorry about that. You'll go to Email Studio, and we're going to build out a filter data extension because using a filter data extension, you can preview, you can reuse. It's very, very helpful, very useful. So again, what I did was I came into Email Studio, went to subscribers, went to synchronized data extensions. And if you follow this row here, what you'll see is a little icon that just is a little filter. So I'll click filter and I'll start to build out my filter to data extension. So I might say I want to bring in everybody who their sync to Marketing Cloud is set to true and their first name is not null or is not empty, and their email is not empty, right? So some pretty basic criteria there. So I'll go ahead and actually click Save as Filter, and I'll just say filtered data extension video, test video DE. So just, name it accordingly, definitely put in a description, but we won't do that right now. And I'll drop it in my data filters and then say close. So now I've got the data filter built out. So then if I come over to Automation Studio, I should see that filter activity. Oops, where did it go? All filters. I had to edit my video a little bit. That's okay. But yeah, so basically you then come in to Automation Studio once you built your filter. You click Create Activity up here. You'll choose Filter because that's what we will be building. Say Next. And then under Filter Definition, you can select that filter that we just made. And then I'll name this Test Video DE, just to keep it simple again. And then under there, I'll just drop in the filter file, just like it was before. Oops. I'll put it in this one. Yeah. And then I'll go ahead and click Next. And then this is the data extension that will be created from this data filter activity. So it says configure for customer list data extension. So I'll name this data extension of contacts that are CRM and have email. So actually, let's not do that. Let's just call this test DE for filter video. And I'll just say delete later. That way I know that this isn't the one I need to keep in my org. But yeah, so you want to definitely name the data extension here, and then name the, or put in the description so you can find it again later on. You have a summary now. And I'll go ahead and click finish. And now what I'll see is my test DE video filter activity. So I can come in here and I can finish it, edit it, go back, do whatever I need to. But now I have the activity. And so then what I can do is actually come in to my overview section of Automation Studio and create a new automation to run that filter every day. Now, the reason we would do that is because when you create the filter data extension, what it actually does is only updates the data extension at time of creation. So basically, what I'm saying is, let's try 1 o'clock. Why is it not liking that? Oh, yeah, we'll use the recommended time. And I'll say, well, I want to repeat this daily. And then end never. So basically what I'm saying is when you go into Email Studio, you build out that filter data extension using the filter. It will take a snapshot of the data that's on that data extension. It'll be static data. Any new data moving forward will not come onto the filter data extension. So say, for example, you have a filter data extension that you create that says, hey, filter out anybody who lives in the state of Texas, is under the age of 50, and is a female. So you might run that filter, and at the runtime, you might have 100 people on that filter data extension. Well, if you check back tomorrow, the next day, the day after that, 6 years from now, that same list of 100 people will be on that data extension. Whereas if you create an automation to automatically refresh that filter like we're doing right now, then that data will be updated at whatever interval you choose. So right now I'm choosing daily, every single day, and end never. So again, basically what this is saying is, hey, every day at 1:13 a.m., run that data filter, update that data extension. That way we have the most up-to-date data on our data extension. So it's very simple, but you drag over or use the schedule, drag it over, put in the schedule that you want to, and then all you have to do is drag over the filter that we just built out. So again, the test video DE. So I'll go ahead and click done. I can click save and then name this test video DE automation. Again, name it accordingly, put in a description, put a good location so that you'll be able to find it in the future. And then now it is saved. So now what I can do is I can run this once, select activity and say run, and I'll just say run now. So now what's happening is in the background, this automation is actually running and processing and going through its steps. And the subsequent data extension that we created will now be populated with the data that matches that criteria. So let's see if we had anything that actually matched that criteria. I don't even remember the criteria that we chose, but we should see. I don't even remember where I put it. Let's see. I think I put it in synchronized data extensions. Yeah. Awesome. So now if I come into my synchronized data extensions, you'll see right here the test DE for filter video has 18 records on it. That's awesome. And so what it's doing is taking these fields and saying, hey, if somebody matches this criteria, drop them on this data extension. That's the initial filter that we built out. And then using Automation Studio, we have this filter data extension that's going to update every single day at 1:13 a.m. So now if I say, okay, that's awesome. Now I want to go in and I want to actually use that data extension for my journey because now I have the filter data extension built out. It's an exact mirror of the Salesforce data. You don't even have to have filter criteria. You can just have it be the same exact data that comes in from Salesforce CRM. You can use that data moving forward. That way, again, you can preview your emails and do some additional segmenting. But now instead of using Salesforce data, I can use a data extension as my entry source. And I'll select the data extension that we just built. Let's see, where did that go? I think I put it under shared. Where did I put it? Date modified. Try this. So one thing to note also, another little video cut here. So I'm not a professional director, but I can navigate Marketing Cloud pretty well. Is that when you build your filtered data extension, you'll notice that you have an option for like where to save it. A lot of times that data extension will actually be saved into your synchronized data extensions folder. So then if you come into Journey Builder, you won't see that. So all you have to do is just come into Audience Builder, Contact Builder. And what I did was I created that data extension or that filter data extension over here. Now this data extension was stored in synchronized data extension, so I wasn't able to use it. So basically all you have to do is come into the data extension itself, click into it, change location, and then put it into your data extensions folder. But anyway, back to the journey. So let's open up my journey builder again. And then if I go click create new journey, multi-step journey, use a data extension as my entry source, I'll go ahead and find that data extension that I just built, which of course is the, where did it go? Test DE for filter video, just right here. I'll go ahead and click summary. So that's my new entry source. Click done. And then now whenever I come over and I drag over an email component, click into it, and then select the message. So I'll come in and I'll select this one, which I know has a personalization string. I click summary, and now I can preview and test this. And since it's using that filter data extension as the entry source, I can come in and actually click into my data extensions and then search to find that test DE for filter video. Select one of these records, click select, and now I can see my personalization string shows up. And you can even click this little side button and make sure that all of your data looks right. You can use these fields as personalization strings. It can be really, really powerful. So I'll go ahead and click save, and I feel good about that journey or that email template. I can go back, do message configuration and all that fun stuff. But then just like in when you use Salesforce data as an entry source, all these other tools are still available to you. And the wonderful thing is that on this data extension, I have the ID field. So any data that I use or any data that I collect or want to pass back into CRM, I can do that because the ID field is listed. So that would be contact ID or lead ID. So same as always, I can do a decision split after the email is sent and come in here and edit my first path. So I can look at my journey data, which is using that entry source, and I can say, okay, if the gender equals male, then send them down one path. And then if the gender equals female, send them down another path. That would just be one use case. And so now I'm beginning to start to segment out using the data that I have for my data extension. So again, very useful. The biggest pro for this system and setting up the automation, the filter data extension and all that is that you can preview now. That's something that is not available to you out of the box using Salesforce data as the entry source. You also can't use the synchronized data extensions in Email Studio. So again, lots of pros. Takes a little bit of upkeep, but it can be a really wonderful tool. And then the last thing that I'll say is in Automation Studio, if you build out, 10, 15, 20, however many data filters, to build out different segments, and you want those to automatically refresh every day at the same time, you don't have to create a new automation. All you have to do is actually just come over and drag over a filter activity to the bottom of the automation that you already have. So if I come in here and I go ahead and, excuse me, come into my workflow, drag over another filter activity, I can choose an existing filter activity. So I'll choose my birthday filter, which is used in another process. So it's not like in that. I'll do my today's birthday filter activity over here. I can click save and I can list out all of my data filters here. So you can name this something like you can name this automation something like filtered DE automation. And now anytime you create a new data filter, you can just drop it in here, have it refresh automatically, and you can trust that all of your data is going to be up to date. Any new customers that come into that data extension and match that criteria will be entered onto the journeys. And then when you come in and do a send, then you can rest assured that everything is covered. But yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for listening to my talk. I hope this was useful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My email is zwhite@salesforce.com. Have a great day, and I will see you around.